Anybody get gold names? Paint the faces on the back.
There's the bridesmaid.
Eva, this is Bagnall. This is Bagnall.
There we go.
You can't have any fun up there.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this glorious 50th anniversary of Lottie and Eric. I'd like to introduce the head table first. Starting on my immediate left is the bride's girl, Eva. She is the sister of Eric. Linda, daughter of Merle and Ida. Ida, son Merle, and Ruth. Of course, in the middle is the two, the piece de resistance, Mr. and Mrs. Harry Durnford. I guess we could remain standing while I say grace. This grace was written, a little story attached, by a Bishop Bill Downs from London. He's in charge of the mission to seafarers. And one time he came to Halifax. We had our sort of fundraising dinner, and he was our guest speaker. And I said to the bishop, I said, I'd like for you to say grace, Bishop. Well, he said, I don't know proper grace. I said, my Lord, we're always brought up our encounter. The bishop was so close to God when he talked to him, it was a local call. But anyway, he said, well, I'll write a grace this afternoon for you. So what I think, because of course Eric is a seafarer, was, and Merle is still going to sea with the Coast Guard. So I think it's appropriate for tonight. Let us pray. God of goodness, bless the food, keep us in a pleasant mood. Bless the cooks and all who serve us. From indigestion, Lord, preserve us. And if long speeches we endure, give us first a good liqueur. Amen. Please be seated. job and I got a few bucks in the bank. Lottie said, I got a job, I got nothing in the bank. So he said, I'll take care of you, dear. So here he is, 60 years later, still taking care of it. Not bad. At least he's a man of his word. I think I'll take my arrow down to close to the bride and groom. Earl?
Well, glad everybody here this evening. And God has been with them for 60 years. Hope everybody can go back in another 12 years for celebrating again.
You gotta go through this again, right?
So Eric and Lottie. So he said, okay, the first word I asked you to remember is aisle. That's not bad because you're walking up the aisle. And the second word is altar, going towards the altar. And usually you have a hymn in the church, a group of service. Third word would be an interesting. I can remember that. And lo, the congregation with armies in their ears, as Lottie was married to go up the aisle. I'll offer it. Just a little bit more on the wedding night. They met on, he proposed on February the 14th, and they got married on May the 23rd. Now, like you would in my county, there was a few sarsaparillas spreading around. I'm told even Reverend Lottie got tipsy. Lottie. Even so that the next morning he asked John that for the young one to make him feel better the next morning, so that wasn't bad. Reverend Fudge was a little nicer than I suppose in the Anglican church. Sit down, Brad. Now, Eric is a swimmer, as you probably know. He swims 3 days a week at the pool. And we visited the pool this morning. It was beautiful. And it's not no easy feat. What do you do? 30 laps, Eric? 3 times a week? Not bad. And they usually go in the hot tub after the pool. This morning, he said the guy was in the hot tub, long ponytail for hair. It looked like a hippie to me. And he asked her, could you come in the pool? He said, no, Lord, this will burn my balls off if I get it. Of course, the guy he did that to, a few days later, he found out it was a freak. Anyway, that's good. Linda, are we ready? Linda's going to read some certificates and probably say a few words about her parents and stuff, right? Thank you.
Well, unlike my dad and my grandfather, I look like them, but I have the gift to gab. So, good evening, everyone. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lottie and Eric's favorite granddaughter. They couldn't fool me growing up. Pop, I'm your only granddaughter. So, I'd like to just share a few fond memories with you this evening about my grandparents, and then a quick presentation. It's a special one. So, being the only grandchild really had its benefits. When Mom and Dad said no, Nan and Papa would probably say yes, padding my pockets with a few extra dollars, or a new pair of pants or some shoes when Mom and Dad said that I had enough already. But more than that, growing up, I was very lucky to have a close relationship with my grandparents that I still do. Which is why... Which is why it's an honor for me to be here this evening and to bring home their favorite great-grandson, Joshua. So, if you could have seen Pop today at lunch, crawling around the living room floor with Josh on his back, playing horsey, you would have laughed. We all did. It was pretty funny. Apparently, I would play horsey as well, and turn back on Pop's hair, which I never remember him having, to make me go faster. Once Pop took me fishing. We drove all the way down to Islamore Road to go fishing. For our long drive down the Islamore Road, Nan had prepared some sandwiches. Once we arrived at our destination, Pop said that it was now time for our lunch, and that I had to get the sandwiches out. However, I had eaten all the sandwiches. To this day, Pop has not let me live this one down. Sorry about that. Maybe the next time you can take Josh fishing and I'll make the sandwiches. So, well, Nan, oh Lord, I didn't treat Nan any better. From covering her kitchen in flour, inviting her into my beauty parlor, and doing her hair so beautifully with wool and rollers and God only knows what else, and then trying to drown her up at Mugga Chuck, Nan's not a swimmer, Pop and myself were. You would think that I would have lost my title of favorite granddaughter some time ago. But I'm proud to say that I still hold that title today. So, if everyone could join me in raising your glass and toasting my Nan and Pop, I would really appreciate it with a great big loud cheers. Cheers! 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 Somebody drank? The certificates I have here this evening are some special ones. Certificate from the Queen, and it says, Mr. Eric Durnford and Mrs. Lottie Durnford, I am delighted to hear that you are celebrating the diamond anniversary of your wedding, and send you my warmest congratulations and good wishes on this special occasion. Elizabeth R.
And Lottie?
From the Queen.
No, first name basis for the Queen.
Yeah. And then this one is from the Governor General of Canada. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Durnford, I am pleased to extend my warmest wishes to you on your diamond wedding anniversary. One of life's great joys is to be able to count on someone who is intimately entwined with your journey as a human being. As partners and soulmates, spouses become mirrors to each other, reflecting values and assumptions about life while providing mutual support. Many years ago, you pledged together to build a lasting union for better and for worse. And thanks to the challenges and opportunities that crossed your paths, you have become stronger as individuals and as a couple. May your relationship continue to bring you much happiness. That's
Better get there around.
Thank you, Linda. Very nice. I have some greetings here from friends and relatives who couldn't make it today, so I'd like to read them now. To Lottie and Eric, congratulations on your 60th wedding anniversary. Wish we could be there with you. Love, Maddie, and family. And Lottie and Uncle Eric, congratulations on your special day. Sorry we couldn't be with you. We love you both very much. God bless. Jesse and Len, PEI. And Lottie, sorry. Congratulations and best wishes on another milestone in your lives. You two are a wonderful example of what we need to do in God's intended marriage to be. All of us look to you for your love and guidance. May your special day be as wonderful as the two of you are. Wish we could be with you. You are in our thoughts and prayers. God bless you both. All our love, Gloria and Lottie. And Lottie on Larry. Wow. 60 years in counting. Congratulations and good wishes on your very important milestone in your lives. Always know you are in our hearts and thoughts. We wish you the best today and every day. And Lottie, try and stay out of Michigan. And Uncle Harry gets, I still wear white. Love you both. Lottie and Rick and girls. I just want to little poem about the last one. Lottie and Eric. Our warmest wishes on your 60th anniversary. It takes two very special people to achieve such major milestones, and both of you are definitely that. Here's the poem. As you look at each other today, I see the love you have. Be proud of all you have accomplished, in good times and bad. You have weathered many storms and walked 1,000 miles. When you look back at your wedding day, your heart still beats and you can still smile. It's absolutely wonderful to know two people so in love, be happy and healthy, and give thanks to God. That comes from all our love, Max, Mary, Mark, and Dave, and Keeper. That's Jess and Ada's father. And it says, P.S. Eric, you and Dad should stop winning so many card games against Mom and Pop. Eric, you know, was always a little mystery when he was growing up. So, one day in school, young fellow had a brand new sweater on. And Eric searched out a piece of wool and he started unraveling it. And he unraveled it, all he had poured out left was the neck and a ball of wool to take home. So his poor mother was not impressed. That's Eric. Eva, are you ready for your... I'd like to ask Steve Moore to come forward and read quite a poem from our friend in Cold Lake, Alberta, Jack DeGruchy.
I represent the DeGruchy twig of the family tree. And in the DeGruchy twig, we have a poet laureate. His name is Jack, and he writes poems about everything from the birth of your first child to your treatment for cancer or your ear being bitten off by a horse. And these are all actual occasions that happen. And we have poetry to prove it. So Claude got in touch with my Uncle Jack and asked him to write a poem for Eric and Lottie's anniversary. And if you haven't been to Red Counter, you might have to stretch a little, but I'll try to do it justice. Dear friends, back to Red Counter West, pray let your memories steer. When we used lassie in our tea and lassie for our beer, we had lassie bread for breakfast, for our supper and our lunch. And Durnford sold it by the tierce barrel for the puncher. That store they called the Durnfords was owned by JRS, and John Matt took it over when JR was laid to rest. One day, his son, young Eric, juiced on Jockey Club and brandy, said, "Father dear, I'm bringing Lottie Ball into the family." That night to all of John Matt said, "As near as I recall, our Eric seems to think the family needs a lot of balls." But Olive said, "My dear, your hearing's getting really spotty. He doesn't want a lot of balls. The ball he wants is Lottie." Then Eric courted Lottie, and each time they were alone, he would sing the Frozen Charlotte, and he'd learned from Jimmy Stone. And he thought if we were out to sea, I'd have a better chance. I'll take her on the love boat, what we calls the Ralph and Blanche. And when I pop the question, and if she answers yes, there'll be the biggest time to ever hit Red Counter West. There are bands that must be published, there's a preacher I must pay, and a shopping trip to St. Pierre to liven up the day. And thus these two were wedded, and thus Merrill came on the scene. In their house above the cove they dwelt, contented and serene, till Outport Closure raised its head and bit them in the ass. and the Durnfords boarded up their store and moved to Portobello. Through 60 years, Rencounter and the Ralph-and-Blanche are gone, but for Lottie and for Eric, their love boat still sails on. For as sure as Rudolph was a dwarf, and as sure as beans make farts, no Ralph and Blanche could ever hold the love that fills their hearts.
Now the bridegroom is going to do the honor of cutting the cake. And this cake was decorated by the way, by Elsie, used to be bald, now they're friends. Thank you, Elsie, fine job. Lottie is pretty light, especially around the house. Apparently they had a repairman a few days ago to repair their stove. And he took off his glasses, laid them down in the kitchen to repair that. Lottie goes out, takes the glasses, puts them on. Thinks, my God, I'm going blind. I didn't want to tell Eric, she was embarrassed. Tried the paper, it was worse. Meantime, the guy is finishing his repairs. And I said to Eric, I can't find my glasses. He walked out and said, your wife got them on. That's all right. Wonderful. I'm told till they still go up on the knob overlooking the harbor, you know, watch the CN boats go back and forth. And when they were younger, of course, Lottie said to Harry, when we were younger, you used to kiss my hand. So we leaned over and kissed her hand. And she said, when you were younger, you used to kiss my cheek. So we leaned over and kissed her cheek. And then she said, you know, dear, when we were younger, you used to nibble on my ear. And with that, Eric took off her scalded dog. She said, where are you going? I said, I'm going in to get my teeth. That's it. Sit down for about that. I think John, Tom, the caterer, Mrs. Margaret Miles is in charge of the beautiful meal. Thank you, Margaret, and all your catering staff. A wonderful meal. Now, Lottie wants to say a few words to the group. Lottie, are you ready to? You told me. Pardon me?
I had a few words, but I don't know what to say now.
You got it, Mike.
I'll begin and you take over.
Okay, dear. They say you can see, still see.
It's okay.
Okay.
Gotta stand up and be moving. First of all, I want to thank Carol, Ida, and Linda. For bringing our relatives and friends together for this joyous occasion. Eric and I had nothing to do with this matter. Linda, Ida made all the arrangements. Linda made and sent out the invitations. And she even made a cake.
Who, me?
Me, Ida. Yeah. And I'd like to thank her for it. And they're giving us this supper tonight, Ida and Meryl. Thank you, Ida, very much. And I'd like to give her a big hand. I must thank God for our 60 wonderful years together. Because they've been good years, they flew by so fast, so it is beside them. When Meryl came along, we thought we couldn't be any happier. We were a family. And later on in our life, Meryl and Ida gave us Linda. And when we looked at her sweet little face, we loved her from the very first. And Linda has always been a bright spot in our life. And now Linda and Daryl have given us our little great grandchild, Joshua Darrell Rose. We won't watch Joshua grow up like we do Linda, but we will love him wherever he is. Now, amongst all of us relatives tonight, they've come from near and far, from Virgil right to the States. And we have Eric's niece, Cindy, and her husband, Bruce. And this is Bruce's first time in Newfoundland. So I'd like to say, welcome, Bruce. But I'd also like to say, welcome to the family. And that beautiful quilt down there, Cindy made it and brought to us for our anniversary. Now, amongst all our relatives and friends, there's a very special friend. He's our minister, Durnford-Branecki. Not too long ago, we had prayer and praise service in our church, and Reverend Fudge sang a hymn for me. He noticed it in church. He said, I'm simply saying just a line. So he sang it. Eric sat beside me and held my hand, and Reverend Fudge sang the beautiful song that I love. She touched the hem of his garment, and Jesus made her whole. Thank you, Reverend Fudge, for making old lady happy. There's so much that we stand before us, and so many blessings to count. I often think of Bing Crosby's song, counting your blessings. When sometimes you cannot sleep, count your blessings instead of sleep. When you fall asleep, counting your blessings. Thank you all for coming. Have a good time, and I love you.
Wonderful, Lottie. Thank you, Reverend. Well, that's about it. Now we're going into a little dancing later, but is there anyone else who would like to say anything before we adjourn? Now's your chance.
I had to write this down because I'm going to raise me up bad. I'm surprised that you remembered all that, because I couldn't. I had to write it down.
There you are, dear.
This is for Lottie and Erie. My husband said you shouldn't read it because I don't want you out there crying. Because I usually cry. Anyway, Lottie and Erie, I just want to congratulate you on this special landmark in your life together. Because it truly is a landmark. My philosophy is there's no such thing as perfect marriage. Maybe you think yours was perfect, but I don't know. I got a problem with that. There will be disagreements because we are all human. And we all have different opinions. But all things need work, and marriage is no exception. Marriage is a lifetime commitment, and we have to work at it together. And that's what you and Eric have done. That's why we're here this evening celebrating your 60th. Your love for each other has never failed. And no matter what the future holds, your love will be with you to the end of time. Enjoy your evening. I love you both very much.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to say something? All right.
Years ago, someone gave us a little card, and we still keep it on our dresser. It reminds us of what anniversary is all about. The time for memory, think about the memories past. Think about the hope that you have, and love. Memory, hope, and love. That's so important. 60 years ago, things are quite different when people got married than they are today. I'm sure when Lottie and Eric got married, they had a gunshot wedding. Did you have a gunshot wedding? When we got married 37 years ago in McCallum, the minister was afraid to leave the church because people were out there firing off guns, you see. And everyone you meet now and go to the hospital, we were chatting to the hospital some years ago, and when he's asked, what minister do you have? Reverend Fudge. Oh, I married them, but they had a gunshot wedding. That was Bill No. Things have changed over the years. When we got married 37 years ago, the gifts are a little different than they get today. Most of the gifts that we got was dishes. I remember we had 4 teapots. And I don't know what happened to them over the years. I guess we got rid of them over the years. Well, that was the custom in those days. You go to the store, there wasn't very much in the store to buy in those days, but dishes, lots of dishes around, and this will be gone. We got a lot of dishes, so things have changed over the years. So I want to say to Lottie and Harry, this is a real blessing for you tonight, because in today's world, marriages don't seem to last as they did years ago. And this is a blessing for you and for all the people gathered here tonight. I had to say this, Lottie. I've known you for a long while, I guess, because I got some bait from round Counter West. My other aunt, she's from round Counter West. And I met you, I guess, when I grew up there, and in those days we got 40. Eventually got married. But it's one thing I know, since we've been here in Portavas for 5 years, almost 5 years now, we've had some games of cards together. But one thing I have to say about Lottie, she loves to beat the minister. If I put down the ace of hearts, she got the jack, she does it like that. You know? If I play the jack, she got the 5, she does that. And she's glee. Anyway, she loves to beat the minister. But it's all in fun. And I wish you all the best, and I hope many more years of happiness for you and Eric. And may God bless you one another. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. Very nice. Well, the cake is coming in now. And then I think anybody else would like to say a few words? Okay. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll open our cake and eat it too.
Yes.
And then we'll have a dance, is it? Dance? Yeah. Well, thank you very much. indeed.